next entertainer, Tony Argento. Once you meet him, you won't forget this guy. If you see him out wandering the streets, just holler Tony Baloney. He'll come running. Yeah, this guy's kind of out there. Tony started reciting poetry when he was just a young child. He got motivated and inspired by his grandfather. And he enthusiastically refers to his style as tuned up and twisted. And should he ever have too much to drink and forget what he's all about, he's got it inscribed on his belt buckle. So please help me welcome Tony.
All right, how we doing, folks? Good. We having a good time? Right on. In the words of Will Rogers, we're all here for a spell. Let's get all the good laughs we can. We're going to work on that. Now, I want to do a little audience participation here. On the count of 3, I want to hear the biggest, rippest, roarest ee-haw you ever heard. You with me? 1, 2, 3. That's good. You're going to be a great crowd, I can tell already. But before I begin, I just heard on the news, and this is no kidding, the state legislature is holding an emergency session right up here at Carson to outlaw wind in Nevada. Can you believe that? They better, because it sure raises hope up in my beard. And before I start, I want to give a big thank you to the town manager, the committee, the volunteers, the sponsors, the sound people, and our 2 entertainment chair people right here that are entertainers for you, Mr. Ken Gardner and Cindy White. I want to hear a big round for them. Without them, this event would not be successful, and I am very honored to be here tonight. I'm going to start with the poem that I learned from my grandfather, as was mentioned here earlier. I learned this in 1965. My granddad recited this, and as a little boy, I could picture all these characters, what they looked like, where they were, what they were doing. So it was fascinating for me, and it was easy for me to learn this. It's called The Devil's Tale, or Tying the Knots in the Devil's Tale by Ken Gardner. He's one we consider to be one of our founding fathers of cowboy poetry as we know it today. In 1917, on a coach car called the Santa Fe Limited, he was riding through the state of Kansas. And he was on his way to go train in what was called at that time the Air Service, before it was called the Air Force. He looked out his coach car window and he saw what he termed as round-rumped cattle. Pulled out his quill and he penned this poem, and here it is. Way up high in the Sierra Peaks where the yellow pines grow tall, Buster Jiggs and Sandy Bob at a round up camp last fall. And he takes their horses and their running irons and, hell, maybe a dog or 2. And why they swore they'd brand every long-eared calf that came within their view. Now many a long-eared doggy that didn't hesh up by day had his long ears whittled and his whole hide scorched in the most artistic way. One fine day, says Sandy Bob as he throws his seagulls down, well, I'm tired of this cowboyography. Well, I'll go to town. So they saddles him up and they took off at a lope. Ooh. There was no choice of a ride, for them were the days when an old cowpoke could oil up his old insides. So they started out at the Kentucky bar at the head of Whiskey Row. Then they winds her up at the Depot House, some 40 drinks below. Then they sets him up, and turns him around, and by golly, it goes her the other way. To tell you the honest to goodness truth, you guessed it, boys got drunk that day. In other words, they were headed back for camp and packing a pretty good load. Well, why? Who should they meet but the devil himself? Branson County. The devil says, why, you cowboy skunks, you better hunt your holes, or I've come up through these hell-rim rocks to gather up your souls. Says Buster Jiggs. Why, we're just in town and feeling kind of tight. You ain't gonna get no cowboy show. We should have some kind of a fight. So he punched a hole in his old throat rope and he slings her straight through. And he ropes the devil around the horns and he takes his valleys too. Now Sandy Bob was a reality man with his rope all coiled neat, but he shakes it out and he builds him a loop. And he ropes the devil's hind feet. Then they stretched him out on the desert ground. And while the irons were getting hot, why they cropped and they swallowed up his ears. And they burned him up a lot. Yeah, hey, here's another one, bud. By golly, that one's gonna leave a mark. Then they pruned him up with a dehorning saw. Tied knots in his tail for a joke. And they rode away and left him there. Tied up to a blackjack oak. You ever go up to the Sierra Peaks and you hear an awful wail? Yeah! Well then, you'll notice the devil up belling around with the knots tied in his tail. Thank you. Does this mic sound a little muffled to you? You're okay? Everybody's good with it? Is that, you sound good? Okay, sorry, Ted. Everybody's good in the back? Good? Okay, all right. You're going to see I drink a lot of water here. Water's good for you. Western boot store burnt down. 200 souls were lost. That's true. This one is I like to do a lot of things for the audience. I like to do something that makes you smile, makes you laugh, to get your minds off things that aren't right in your lives. It's not about me, it's about you, that you have a good time. You have a good time, you're going to come back. That's what makes these events work. I can make you smile, make you laugh, maybe make you a little somber, maybe give you a tear, or maybe make you think. All the emotions that we deal with is what we do up here on the stage. Now, this one here is a novelty poem. A fellow by the name of Mike Snyder wrote this. He lives in Canada. It's called Fur Coat. Since all her friends have got one, my wife wants one too. A fluffy, full-length fur coat. Just ain't nothing else is gonna do. Oh, she said it'd make her look real classy, and how I'd be so proud of her. There was just some way I could find to get her that fur. Well, now that got me to thinking. Just how am I going to swing this kind of deal? Lord knows I can't afford it, and I know it's wrong to steal. But the problem finally resolved itself one Friday afternoon. In fact, it just jumped right out in front of me on Highway 22. Why, that big old German Shepherd. My old pickup truck, he didn't see. Now, he's up in doggy heaven. But his hide belongs to me. Well, after 6 months in my workshop, I worked hard most every night. No, it was mostly trial and error, but then I finally got it right. So I fancy wrapped it in a big old box, and I hand-delivered the thing to her. Holy smokes, was she tickled to death when I surprised her with that fur. Now the missus has her fur coat that reaches down to her knees, but doggone it, she's been complaining lately. Her closet's full of fleas. She don't know dear old Fido's wrapped around her tight, boy, golly. She's really putting on the dog when she goes out at night. Well, the missus has been depressed these past few weeks since I backed up over the cat. But I think she'll feel much better when I give her this new fur hat. Thank you. And that's Mr. Mike Snyder. There's a bestseller out right now on bedwetting. It's called Looking Out for Number One. Funny thing is, the same author has the number 2 bestseller out. This next one I'm going to give you, I wrote on the exact date, June 3rd, 2012. My wife liked the poem. She says, you know what, Tony, call Mom and Dad. Get them each on a different phone and see what they think about it. So I said, all right. It was Friday night, I called, and he said, hey, that's a nice poem. My dad says, hey, son, I really like that poem. And I said, well, that's about you, Dad. A week later to the day, I'm over here in Carson City, actually to the north, at Mills Park with Carson City Rendezvous. I just finished a set off the stage. My mother calls me. She's just frantic on the phone. I can hardly make out what she's saying. She says, Tony, your father's been in a terrible accident. And what happened, he was a mule skinner. He had a big Percheron mule, big fella. Moses was his name. Coming off of one ranch, crossing onto a paved road, and going to another ranch. When he closed that gate, he had an encounter with a mountain lion. And that mountain lion sent that mule ballistic and took my dad on a hell of a rodeo ride. He held on for quite a while, but he got thrown off. When you got an animal that's shod in the front with the shoes, there's not a lot of traction on pavement. He hit hard on his back and hit his head, and they flew him to the trauma center, and he passed away the next day. This poem I recited at my dad's funeral the week after that, which was Father's Day weekend. There was 700 people there, full military and full fire department. And here it is, A Cowboy's Wishes. Now, before I begin, I want you to listen to this poem towards the end of it. You probably won't know the end until I get there, but there's an ironic twist to it. It's very unique to how this story unfolds. And as you know, I like humor. I started with it and something told me to refrain from that. So here it is, A Cowboy's Wishes. May your saddle forever be comfy, and your breeches always stay clean. And the Mustang hoss that you ride on, ride like a dream. And the Mavericks you look for, be easy to find. And your 44 6-gun, hit its mark every time. And the birds that you rope with, you can depend without fail. Fond memories of past friends, long gone from that rough, dusty trail. Under the stars in your bedroll, fresh air, new morning's dew. You never thought your sweetheart smiling face of those piercing eyes blue. And the American flag that you fought for, wave evermore. Soldiers remember the ultimate sacrifice, war. And your fences always be mended, your wants simple and free. Know when God keeps his eyes peeled, give him guidance, wherever you be. When your roundup days are done, and you're put in the ground 6 feet below, in a simple pine box, branded, as you requested of ranching friends that you know. And when you're at rest on that final day of your last setting sun, inscribed above you will read, a cowboy's work is never done. Right on, Cowboy Dad, you're the best. Thank you. All right, on a lighter note, I'm going to conclude with this one. I haven't done this for a while, but I thought I think I'll throw it out there. I would have really liked to have met this fellow. His name was Sonny Hancock. There's 2 poems that I do of his. This one's called The Horse Trade. The other one I like is called The Bear Tale, and they are phenomenal poems. And as Sonny would introduce this poem, he says, this poem needs no introduction. And here it is, Horse Trade. Everybody's having a good time still? Come on, let's hear it. Yes. Yes. Thank you, both of you. Traded for a horse one time. Oh, it wouldn't take no beauty prize. A great big, long-eared blue roan. Ooh, gelding. Not too bad for weight or size. And I had to make some tough old circles, and this trader guaranteed that this horse would show me lots of country and not need too much rest or feed. He says, and this here ain't no kid. It's a horse that he'll pack you up the creek. Oh, he'll bump up on some occasions. And now let me see here. Oh yeah, he's been known to kick. Yeah, but I wouldn't trade him just to anyone without having some remorse. But well, if you're a sure enough cowpuncher, mister, he's your kind of horse. Well, I stepped up on that horse next morning. He began to bark and bawl. Oh, that trader, he ain't lying, but he hadn't told it all. Because we sure tore up the country where he drove that equine fit. I almost ran out of handles by the time he finally quit. I guess that must have set the standard. Nothing ever seems to change. Although I showed him lots of country. Oh, yes, sirree. Every corner of the range. But every time I'd ride that butter, why, he'd keep me sitting tight. And I knew I'd make a slug of bronc rides before he packed me home that night, which would have been okay with lots of horses that I know, but with that old pony, he had me guessing, almost had me throw. I pulls into camp one evening, and it's getting kind of late. I sees this gray horse in the corral. And there's a saddle by the gate. When I looked that gray horse over, I like what I see. And then this kid shows up from behind the barn. I say, oh hell, he must have been about, say, 16. He said he left his gray that morning when he's coming down off the granite grade. Well, he's wondering if I had a horse that I'd maybe like to trade. He said he didn't have the time to stop and rest and let him heal. And well, since beggars can't be choosers, why, he'd make most any kind of deal. When a feller's trading horses, why, most anything is fair. So I traded him my blue roan for his gray horse. You're darn tootin'. Yeah, right then and there. But then my conscience started hurting when I thought of what it did to treat a fly-blown dink like that up to some little snot-nosed kid. So next morning after breakfast, I tells him, say, hey, listen, lad, if you really want to know the truth, the trade you made last night was bad. Well, that old blue horse, oh, he's a tough one. As bad as anyone you'll see. Why, he'll kick you, he'll strike you, he'll stampede. Why, he's a sorry SOB. And that's all I can do to ride him, and well, I'll tell it to you straight. I just think you'll be awfully lucky just to ride him past that gate. Now, there's a couple, 3 old horses out there in that saddle bunch, and it ain't that much going for it. I kind of got a hunch that, well, they'll probably get you where you're going if you just don't crowd on none, but damn. I hate to see you ride that blue run booger, son. He says, now I told you there last night I'd make most any kind of trade. Well, I appreciate you telling me just what a bad mistake I made. But my grandpappy told me when you're trading, and no matter how you feel, that even if you take a whipping, that a deal's still a deal. Now that horse you say has lots of travel, he's not too bad for speed. Well, sir, I'm kind of in a tight, and he's exactly what I need. Well, I traded for him fair and square, and well, damn his blue roan hide. When I pull out of here this morning, well, by golly, that's the horse I'm gonna ride. And I watched him cinching up his saddle. And then he pulled his hat way down. Then he stepped up into that rigging, like he's headed straight for town. He stuck both spurs behind them old blue shoulders. Yeah! Got them blue roans and hairs flying. And he tipped his head straight back, and he howled. Oh! Just like a hungry mountain lion. Oh. Now, you know, I've heard a lot of stories about the bucking horse ballet. Oh, I know, folks, I tried. That's all a steer can do. I've heard of poetry in motion, cowboy poetry, but the ride I saw that day just plumb complete defied description. Oh, I could see it plain. Well, like it had happened in slow motion, it was branded on my brain. I don't suppose I could explain it to you. Hell, even if I tried. But the only thing that I can say was, holy smokes, that kid could ride. He just sat there, plumb relaxed. Well, like he's laying home in bed. Every jump that pony made, that kid, he's half a jump ahead. When it was over, I decided, yeah, I could learn a few things too. I said, son, I'm off off. He said, I misjudged your riding skill. He just said, "Aw, shucks. That's okay, mister," as he started on his way. Yeah. But if you think this horse can buck, don't put your saddle on the grave. Mr. Sonny Hancock, thank you, folks. It's been a great crowd. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day. I have a website if anybody's interested, just simply TonyArgento.com. I like to have fun. I like to see that you have a good time while you're here. Have a nice day.